So riders like Casey Brown, Via Verbeek, Miranda Miller, Georgia Astle coming off of big time exciting race in the enduro. So it's going to be cool to see them switch gears just as we've seen the men do into dual slalom racing right here. Who do you have your money on for the women in dual slalom?
I feel like it's hard to bet against Via, that's for sure. She's been training super hard.
Via Verbeek, of course, the 2019 reigning queen of Crankworx, and somebody who knows a little bit about all the competitors in the field here. We're lucky enough to have a third member of our team joining us right now. Rachel Straight, can you hear us? Hey, there she is.
I can hear you guys. How are y'all?
We're good. Sorry you have to listen to us. We're glad you can hear us, but we're sorry you have to listen to us. How jealous
Okay,
are
I'm
you that they're out
enjoying it.
racing? Would you just love to be out there, Rachel?
Yeah, it's actually really making me miss racing right now. So it's cool to see it happening, and I'm so excited for everyone to be out there racing today, especially the women. So yeah, excited for the competition.
Where are you joining us from right now?
I'm actually at my dad's house up in Big Bear, California. So I decided to head into the mountains and beat the heat down in San Diego. So yeah, enjoying it up here.
Good stuff. So did you see the results from the women's enduro that already took place?
I did. Casey absolutely did amazing. She dominated, and Via was not far behind. And then Miranda Miller coming in third place. Awesome to see. So really excited for the racing that's about to happen.
Well, good. The stage is set. Luckily, with the way this format works, is we're going to see all of them who made the podium in enduro right here in dual slalom. So let's see if we have any racers up in the gate. Let's cut to that camera view. There we have it. Look at this with the bark busters and all. Miranda Miller, you see that right there, numero uno on her ODI number plate. And I would venture to say she's choosing to ride her enduro bike for this dual slalom, as we saw a lot of the men competitors do. Let me boot up the results sheet here and see who she will be going up against.
I think that's Leonie PICTON. And was Miranda switching bikes with her teammate?
Riders ready?
Yeah, that's right. That'll be interesting to see. Here we go, heat number one of the women's round of 6 underway.
The track's going to be much different from what they rode in practice. Probably had it nice and watered. All the dudes in the round of 16 have blown it out, especially these flat turns.
So Miranda Miller ahead here in the final straightaway. She will cross the finish line first ahead of PICTON. The big question, by how much? Looks like 1.29 separating Miller and PICTON. And yeah, tell me more about the whole sharing of the bike situation, Elliot. That's super interesting. I can't wait to see that transpire.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know she's sharing her bike, so I feel like. And who is her teammate? I know she said that when I was talking to her, but who is she sharing?
I believe it's Reese Werner who her teammate is.
Yeah, that should be good because it's funny in my notes for Reese I have full XC. He made the switch to enduro, so I feel like both of them like being Squamish, being C, like maybe they've switched bike before. I wonder if they practice.
Town bicycle. All right, so next heat in the gate, we got Georgia Astle and ALN. Now we had the opportunity to throw a camera in ALN's face and catch up with her about this unique racing format for the next 3 weeks. Let's hear what she had to say.
I don't know if many of us have actually done like 12 races like this in 3 weeks. So it's going to be interesting. I think recovery is going to be the long game for sure. So yeah, I think it will be interesting to see where people are coming strong and then getting tired. And I think everyone's aware of that because we're all experienced racers. So yeah, I think we're going to have lots of surprises.
Yeah, there's already been surprises in the men's category. It's going to be a long 3 weeks of racing, but one step at a time. And the step ALN has in front of her right now is to get past Georgia Astle in this first round of competition
Ready? Watch the
here
gate.
in the dual slalom. Look at this, we got some doubling in the mix here. Rachel, it's becoming harder and harder these days to tell if you're just looking at a course, if you're watching men or women come down. Of course, talk to me a little bit about the progression in the women's field 2020.
I don't know how
I would definitely say
say
adding dual slalom into the Crankworx World Tour has definitely pushed the progression of the women's side of it. Because in the past there was really only sea otter, and then maybe if you had it in your country's national champ for dual slalom. So it's really awesome to see the women progressing.
I mean, of course, the Crankworx World Tour was cut short this year, but even speed and style we were seeing a women's category, which is pretty rad to see. You look at a lot of other sports, and you know, the women are up on such a high level of competition, even when you compare them to the men. And I feel like we're entering that era in mountain biking now.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's so exciting to see. I can't wait to see the girls that are 14 years old doing T-bogs and no-footers in the next, 4 years, where they're going to be.
Especially just the size of jumps you see women able to tackle these days. One rider in particular who, rides out in the terrain where Rampage is held, and no stranger to the biggest jumps during the whip-off competitions on the Crankworx World Tour. That's Casey Brown. She won the Enduro earlier on out in SilverStar, and now she's going up against Lucy Schick in their first heat here in the SilverStar Dual Slalom.
Yeah, and Lucy actually was the 2019 U21 EWS champion. So pretty cool to see her branching out from the Enduro scene and going into the dual slalom scene.
Rachel, do you think she's competed in very many dual slalom races before this one?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say no.
So it's always exciting to see how those skills from different disciplines can cross over. What number does Casey Brown have on her ODI number plate there? We're going to have to take a look. A little frustration out of somebody. I can hear the audio. Casey Brown with a huge lead. Barring any missed gates, she's going to have a pretty huge advantage going into their second run. So Casey Brown, you got to imagine that's going to be a 1.5. It is.
Oh shoot, sorry.
So Casey Brown with a maximum differential of 1.5 over Lucy Schick. Man, at this rate, Casey's going to be racking up the points if she can keep so consistent. She's got all the points from the Enduro win, which is 100. She's just looking to add to that here in dual slalom. So Via qualifying first. Via gets the baya. We won't see her because she moves right into the next round.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see Via and Casey. Really, those three front runners from the Enduro. But we saw Georgia; she was riding really well. It's really shaken up. I feel like it's the same as the men's, where just because you did well in the Enduro doesn't mean you're going to do well in slalom.
Just because your tire held on in that high G-force left berm in run number 1 doesn't mean it's going to hold on in run number 2. Anything can happen. So that does it for the run number 1 of round of 8 for the women's category, which means we pick up with our men right now as they enter into their first run of the round of 8, and we're going to get to see some new matchups here. First of which will actually be Bas van Steenbergen, the #1 qualifier, going up against Kirk McDowell. Next up will be GAUVIN versus Seth Sherlock. And Lucas CRUZ versus Mark Wallace. And then Finn Isles going up against
I think it's McKay. And I think it's
Vesna, I believe.
yeah, these two, Bass and Kirk, like they spend a ton of time together. Kirk has a place up in Whistler, and Bass spends a ton of time up there riding together. They are really good friends, so I'm interested to see if there's a little bit of
Okay,
mind
riders,
games going
random
on.
start.
Friends except for race day. Let's call it that.
Right.
Watch the gate.
All right, Bas van Steenbergen wearing red, Kirk McDowell in the gray. This is their first run in their round of 8, so even playing field here. McDowell with the lead, it looks like, or is that Bass? I have it wrong, don't I?
I think that's Bass.
Yeah, Bass is in the gray, look at that. Ridiculous. Okay, but it's going to be tight. McDowell with that inside line there on that final straightaway. The differential for that's it's a 0.4. So Rachel, you're hanging out at Big Bear. I'm hoping you're going to be able to do some fun races out there. If you were here at SilverStar and able to compete at this event, which would be the discipline you'd be most looking forward to?
I don't know. I think it'd be a tie between enduro and dual slalom. Both are extremely different, but very exciting events.
I know your husband probably is sitting back there somewhere campaigning, dual slalom, because I don't think anybody enjoys dual slalom as much as your husband.
No, he truly loves that event. He's actually up in Reno right now hanging out with his buddy Cam Zink, so they're working on a little project that'll be coming out soon, so that's exciting.
Ooh, I heard about that. I'll be watching that. All right, who we have next up in the gate here? Remy GAUVIN going up against Seth Sherlock. So Seth Sherlock, the youngster, going up against the enduro specialist, Remy GAUVIN.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders, ready? Watch
Everyone
the
on the
gate.
29 or?
That is the calf of a mountain biker right there. Dirty, hairy, strong. 3 words that should never be put together. Okay, GAUVIN on fire right now, hitting all of his marks. As Seth Sherlock does his best to keep up to that back tire. He's got that inside line here in the final straightaway. Who's going to cross the finish line first? It's going to be close. Sherlock through the line first. What will that advantage be? Oh.
Oh, nice, dude.
When you're on
It
that
seems
right
like
side, you just gotta
the
keep.
lower flat corners on the black side are running a bit faster than on the red side right now. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, but
Yeah, it's definitely true, right? What is it, the right line? Is that it's funny because I was just about to say that
Have fun.
Remy is looking so smooth, and then he made some mistakes right at the end there.
yeah, I wonder if one side is running a bit faster or not. It seems like it.
Next heat in the gate here, we've got Lucas CRUZ on the right side of your screen going up against Mark Wallace.
Good. Yep.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders, ready? Watch the gate.
Ooh, Marky Mark. hit the first turn so well. You can see when, like, oh. I was about to say, when people don't break traction, it's kind of, they really nailed it. I saw Mark break a little bit of traction.
Mark is seriously that rider, isn't he? Who's like so efficient that sometimes he's got like that Eric Carter effect, where sometimes you don't think he's going fast, and then you look at the time and you're like, oh no, he's just so efficient. He's not wasting any energy anywhere, and he makes it look easy. Oh, there we go. We get a peek at who this next matchup will be here. Facing off against each other is McKay Vesna and Finn Isles. Finn Isles, of course, the man with the most points right now, coming off that win in the Enduro. So a little bit of a David and Goliath thing going here, as Finn has kind of come out swinging, showing he's the man to beat in this all-around format. It's all about dual slalom right now. Who do you think you got your money on here, Elliot?
Man, it's hard to bet against Finn. We were just listening in a second ago, and they were talking about food. So it doesn't sound like they're too nervous, but maybe they'll try to get down the hill fast so they can get some food.
A little bit of luck on Finn Isles' side as well, as he had that tire blowout, but coincidentally Jacob Jewett, his previous run, had that crash. So, wow, no less aggression there for Finn Isles in that left-hand berm.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing McKay go double single at the beginning, and then Finn is also hitting those berms super hard.
I'm like
hitting all of his marks, and when he did happen to have a mistake, or a mechanical rather, everything fell into place for him. So, strong through the finish line first, Finn Isles, a convincing differential there.
good. The last.
All right, so take a look. We're flowing right now. Race in action right in the middle of the round of 8 in the men's category and the women's category at the Cliff Crankworx Summer Series. SilverStar Duel Slalom. We'll get them back up to the top. We'll re-rack them. We'll do it all over again. Stick with us, race fans. Cliff Crankworx Summer Series Dual Slalom time. Of course, we couldn't do it without GT. You can't have good times without GT. And Whistler Mountain Bike Park, the birthplace of the Crankworx World Tour. Ride now, sleep later. And of course, Pivot Cycles. We'll have some really exciting content coming from Matt Walker and Eddie Masters later on as we proceed through our 3 weeks of broadcast competition at the Cliff Crankworx Summer Series. At this moment, we're in the middle of dual slalom action from SilverStar Resort near Vernon, British Columbia, a place that I definitely wouldn't mind being right now. Beautiful bike park. How about you guys? Would you like to be there right now, hanging out with everybody, rubbing elbows, slapping knuckles from 6 feet apart?
I feel like I've never had so much FOMO in my entire life. I don't know about you, Rachel.
Yeah, 100%.
It looks fun out there. Hopefully we'll be able to enjoy what Crankworx brings to all their festivals sooner rather than later. But this is the local mountain, SilverStar Resort, to a lot of the big heavy hitters out there, guys like Bas van Steenbergen, Casey Brown, Brett Reeder. They call this their home mountain. And so, you know, that says something. Let's take a look at what SilverStar Resort is all about.
Have you ever tried eating kale? It's hard, you chew it forever, and it tastes terrible, and it's slightly crunchy but not in a crispy way, and the leaves fill your mouth and stuff. This is the opposite of that.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from...
Revelstoke, Ontario, Australia.
Oh, I'm getting the shot right now.
Well, I don't need to, I just need to leave my bike somewhere because we're going straight to the cidery.
Brett Reeder grabs apples from trees. Don't
Oh, look, there's a bug.
Oh yeah, that's a bad one.
Rooting for it.
Okay, we get it. We get it. Mountain bike park, stand-up paddleboarding, ice cream, cider. Come on, this is so messed up. It's like completely rubbing our noses in it. Whatever. I'm gonna forget I saw that, and just look forward to the day where I can go visit SilverStar Resort near Vernon, British Columbia. Because now I'm aware of all the fun I am missing. Let's just focus on what we have in the gate right now. It looks like Miranda Miller going up against Leonie PICTON. Miranda Miller has an advantage of 1.29. And we were talking about the fact that Miranda Miller is sharing bikes with her teammate Reese Werner. We have some official word on that. It's an interesting story. Let's listen up.
So I brought kind of three bikes. So Reese and I, my teammate, we're sharing a slalom bike. So it's a pretty sick, it's like a modded out old trail bike, 650, downhill cassette, you know, like semi-slick. It's a sick bike. So we'll share that for slalom. I figure like if we have an hour of practice, whatever, we'll split in half. And then I'm riding my trail bike, probably for most air DHs and the enduro. And then I have a downhill bike that I just made into a mullet recently, and it's super fun. So yeah, 3 bikes, slalom bike, a Process 153, and then an operator.
Hit my ride or something like that. But it's Pimp Our Ride because they're sharing it.
All right, I was thinking about that. Who got to choose like the setup, you know?
It's like they just threw all their preferences into a hat on pieces of paper, shook them up, and just drew.
Yeah, one person.
She didn't even mention the Barkbusters. That's the best part.
I didn't realize they were about to go. Miranda had her foot down. She's a gate.
She didn't realize either. Luckily, Miranda has a 1.29 to lean on. So Leonie PICTON trying to claw her way into position to advance out of this round and into the round of 4, but Miranda Miller making it very difficult on her. Miranda Miller appears to be crossing the line first. She does. So she will scoot right into the round of 4. Be interesting to see who she meets up with.
No touching. No touching.
Yeah, I feel like that was just a hype thing that Miranda was talking about. Like, all this stuff about her switching bikes. That's like just her enduro bike, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was just some, I don't know, that was stirring the waters, trying to make it seem like they've got more going on. They don't have anything to do, they're just like stuck at home, dreaming up scenarios.
All I care about is that she's running Barkbusters, and I think that's cool. So next up, at the top of the course, Georgia Astle, who's leading ALN by 0.76, which is a very manageable margin. But Rachel, you were talking about the fact that you think the rider's right side of the course might be a little bit quicker. Does that seem to be proving true here?
I mean, I think so. We're going to find out definitely in this heat right here. And then on the last run, ALN was doubling the rollers and Georgia was not. So we'll see if that has anything to do with speed and how fast you are too down the course. Wow, that was
right up on the edge.
I have no idea what it did.
I love the air high fives.
Oh, I was wild finish there. That was close. Yeah, I think this is gonna be real close.
So you hear it, they're thinking, oh, that's going to be real close. It's close enough to the point where we have to wait for the official timing and scoring to give us.
ALN close to just dying. Good Lord.
How did she hold on there?
Elliot, you spoke earlier about a purpose casing. Was that a PC out there? The front case or
the PC? I feel like she was casing jumps, middle of turns.
Ooh, that's the beauty of slalom. You got to be on your toes and on your game for every single round.
That is true. It's like not minutes.
Take a look at it right now. Georgia was able to get out of that round, so she'll send ALN packing. Georgia Astle will roll into the round of 4. Ooh, look who we got up there. Left side of your screen, that's Casey Brown, points leader in our Cliff Crankworx Summer Series right now after one completed competition. She qualified very well here in dual slalom, worked her way into the round of 4. She'll be going up against Lucy Schick, who has a 1.5 to make up. So Casey Brown just needs to cruise this one, no mistakes, and she'll be comfortably moving into the next round.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Wow, Casey's looking fast, huh?
Sam, what bike is Casey on? Is that the Remedy?
Yeah, she's on a Remedy. It's like the very smallest size, and the frame looks so much different when you get the smallest size. It almost looks like a slow bike or something. It's working perfect on this slalom course. So Casey Brown with a 1.5 to lead on crosses the finish line in run number 2 against Lucy Schick with another convincing lead and very securely grabbing herself a spot in that next round.
Oh man. Good day.
Yes. Let's slide over here a little. Your commentator's going to be on the screen there. Okay. And there's a bit of a delay, like I mentioned in the meeting. Yep. All sanitized up here.
So we're going to do something kind of cool here. We're going to try something kind of cool. We're going to see if we're able to throw a headset on Casey Brown here and ask her a couple questions. Let's see if the wonders of the World Wide Web will be on our side here.
Look at me, Casey.
All right. Casey, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Cam. How you doing?
Yeah, Casey, doing well, thanks. Just enjoying watching you ride your bike out here. Now, you did great. You got first place in the Enduro, and now you're ripping through brackets in the dual slalom. This is your home mountain, but does that really mean anything? Do you spend a lot of time on the trails that the Enduro is held on, and this is a brand new slalom course, so is it even an advantage?
I think just spending time in the area maybe is an advantage potentially.
What bike did you choose for the slalom?
Yeah. What was that, Cam?
We're dealing with a little bit of a delay here, so I'm just going to talk slow and let you know when I'm done with the question. A lot of riders choosing to go with their trail bike for the slalom, which is irregular. A lot of times riders would pick the hardtail or the real short travel slow bike, but you went with your small size Remedy. It seems to be working for you. Do you think the trail bike is the #1 choice for this slalom course?
Yeah, I think it's good because you have nice grippy tires and good suspension, and I think a hardtail would be so hard on this course.
Well, cool, Casey. It seems like you're making all the right decisions and playing your strategic cards right in the first 2 events of 12 in the next 3 weeks. So we look forward to watching you tick through all these events, and hopefully you're able to maintain your lead. Get back out there.
Thanks, Cam.
Let's see what we have right now. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We're into the semifinals. Closer and closer to awarding some of those valuable points. Astle versus Brown, Verbeek versus Miller. Now, interesting, finally we're going to get to see Via Verbeek squaring up against an actual competitor. She qualified first, so she had the bye in the first round. Now, Rachel, what is it like qualifying first? There's a lot of pressure on you, and it's got to be weird. Everybody's warmed up and racing, and you did bye, so this will be Via's first time going up against a competitor. How is that mentally?
I think for Via, she's always so mentally prepared. She loves qualifying first. It makes her feel that she is really ready for that race. And I know also in her bye, she doesn't go slow. She likes to hit the course like she's racing so that she feels what the course is like, she feels what the corners are like, and how it's going.
That's a good veteran strategy right there. That's a real great point, is treating those bye rounds as a practice run. But now practice is over. It's time to take to the course here. Miranda Miller versus Via Verbeek.
I was texting with Miranda in between her run, and she was talking about her gate starts. She said that she needed to work on them. She said that she knows.
Jeez, look at this, Elliot.
It's actually pretty impressive to have Via really like being aggressive on that first run. It's a little bit risky, like we were talking about her having the bye, not having a ton of track time like the other women, and to know how the track gets developed. So those bottom turns, you see a lot of it in, drifting out into the pads across the finish line. So it's definitely something she's going to take into account going into the finals.
For sure. I mean, she's really backing up that first place qualifier position there. And there you go, flying the colors. The reigning queen of Crankworx from the 2019 season. Of course, she added some points for the 2020 tally in Rotorua. Unfortunately, that's going to be the last event of the World Tour, but luckily we're here and she has an opportunity to try to sweep another overall for 2 years in a row. But right now, the overall belongs to that woman on the left right there, Casey Brown.
Ready? Yeah. Ready. Go. Yeah.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Oh, Casey with the snap, huh?
Yeah. Man, that after the 3 rollers, that first berm was so fun. Just like kind of coming off, floating into the bend, Casey into doubles. Might be a little bit nerve-wracking to have the drone behind you the whole time.
I was thinking the same thing. Here we go, Casey Brown through the finish line first.
We forgot that. Italiano. Yeah, the bottom's getting fun now, hey? Yes. Oh, that was crazy.
Consider having fun.
Couple more. Couple more of those.
So
All
Casey
these
Brown
riders just
through the
ride
line
together.
first. All right, so let's take a look at our women's bracket right now. I will remind you that those names that are lit up in white, that means that they have the advantage, but of course we're going into run number 1 here of the round of 4. So all these competitors looking to turn their names white here. Of course, the reigning queen of Crankworx wants to get out strong. She has the advantage actually out of run number 1, doesn't she?
Yes, I think definitely has the advantage, but who knows what can happen in that second run.
There we go.
Yeah,
that is where we are right now. That is where we are.
I've been loving seeing Vaya's progress. She's been documenting all of her kind of slalom, gate start, all that stuff on her Instagram. So you see her crushing it now. But I mean, like the gate start's so good, but it's all from hard work, which has been really cool to see. I'm glad she did that. Miranda, though.
So Vaya,
I know one thing,
with a
Vaya,
huge-
well, she really worked on her flat corners this off-season. We talked about it in Rotorua, and it definitely shows in her racing right now.
I'm going to be in trouble when there's no rhythm section.
What does she mean by that, Elliot?
Well, Miranda was catching her on the flat turns. I think Miranda's not doubling through. She's losing a little bit of time there.
But semifinal number 2 right now looks like this. Casey Brown with a decent size advantage, about a quarter of a second over Georgia Astol. With Georgia within striking distance in that rider's right lane. Anything can happen. It is dual slalom after all.
Yeah, that's something you have to remember. I've had races where somebody turns ahead and then makes a mistake or crashes, or you saw Finn roll his tire off, so you can't ever give up. I mean, surely you can do a 30-second run, you just have to keep that in mind.
Oh, here we go. Oh. All right, looks like Casey Brown threw the line by just a couple inches there. She had the advantage, so she's safe.
I love it. Thank you.
Tabasco at the end there.
Yeah, you did, didn't ya?
Yeah, I was trying to pedal and then the old...
Who will take the gold? Will it be Casey Brown backing it up 2 events in a row? Or will it be Vaya Verbeek? Right now, it's all about the bronze medal matchup. Let's take a look at who we have loading up in the gate after a long day of racing, Elliot.
It's so true. Georgia coming from Whistler and Miranda and Squamish. Georgia, a lot of experience riding stuff like A-Line, Ninja Cougars, that stuff right in her backyard. So I know she feels comfortable on this stuff.
So clean slate here for this bronze medal matchup. We're gonna find out who has the advantage.
Both right there.
Woo.
This is kind of the difference maker in these flat turns. Miranda got some pedals in, actually.
Wow.
Really good pedals at the end.
I hit a near little slip. You were pretty close to that. Yeah. That was good because I haven't been against someone that was also rolling.
Close is right. If only I could tell her right now. 0.22 in favor of Georgia. So that's the way it's going to go here when we get them back up to the top. One more time down the course for Georgia Astol and Miranda Miller to determine who gets those valuable 3rd place points. 70 points. If Georgia Astol is able to hold on to that 0.22, or 70 points for Miranda Miller if she's able to upset that. Yes, look at this. Vaya Verbeek going up against Casey Brown. Casey Brown, she can do everything. I mean, so can Vaya. She's the queen of Crankworx, but Casey Brown, she kind of dabbles in all kinds of different realms. Free ride, racing, everything you could shake a stick at. We had a chance to catch up with Casey and pick her brain a little bit. Take a listen.
I think I'm gonna be taking it pretty easy. I tore my meniscus 10 days ago, so I'm gonna be just chilling, I think, a bit, and kind of, just riding for fun and being part of the crew, and just taking it all in and easing my way back into the racing thing.
Yeah, Casey, you're not fooling anybody. I call major BS, miss 100 points to your name for winning the Enduro, qualifying first, or qualifying respectable in slalom, and now into the gold medal matchup. Yeah, is that what you call taking it easy?
I think though too, there's it's one of those things where if you are hurt or sick or something like that, you have less pressure on you. I feel like, Rachel, I'm sure you know that too. Like some of your best races are when you're hurt or sick.
Yes, 100%. Less pressure, better for me. Man, this is tight racing
Casey
right now.
as well. What do we got here, Elliot? Real tight matchup. Jeez.
Yeah, that is. They're neck and neck. I feel like these two are used to racing each other. We're seeing a lot of matchups where the riders might not necessarily be used to racing against one another in slalom, like Mass and Finn. Those matchups, like the classic matchup of Slavic and Bass and stuff like that, you kind of know where they're going to push, what they're going to do. And this is definitely one of those matchups, like the classic Crankworx matchup, Casey and Vaya. So.
Hey, Elliot, are you curious what the advantage was? I know. You want me to tell you?
I don't even want to know. No, I know. I want to know.
Well, maybe the race fans at home want to know. This is going to be a really tight gold medal matchup when we get them back to the top of the course. Only 0.3 separating them. So not only are you looking at people who are leading the charge today, but in the overall, Bass and Finn will be 1 and 2 at the end of today's racing. But back into bronze medal matchup for the women right now. So Rachel, let's take a look at what we have.
Yes, Cam.
Yes, Cam. So Miranda on the left side of your screen. Let's see, I'm waiting for my computer to boot back up here so I can find out what that differential was.
Okay, I'm back.
I am very excited to see Miranda progress in this sport and see her nail those gates in the next dual slalom race, because I think that's going to make a huge difference for her.
So who's going to get third place points here? Will it be Georgia Astle? Will it be Miranda Miller?
Ooh, tight racing. Both of these girls are so good at cornering. I love the commentary, the screaming going on. It's very entertaining. And Miranda crosses the line in first.
I did a full little nosy.
Look at
Cam, who had
Miranda
the
Miller
advantage going into that round?
So Miranda Miller taking away those 70 points and third place here in the SilverStar Duel Slalom. And 70 points for that podium here in Duel Slalom. But time to crown a winner up here with the women's category. Of course, Via Verbeek is a name you hear us yapping about all the time on the Crankworx World Tour. And there's a good reason for that. Take a look at what her season looked like last year and how she was able to tally up enough points to grab that Queen of Crankworx title. So all the different events, really similar to what we're seeing here at the Cliff Crankworx Summer Series. She was earning points in dual slalom, in air downhill, in enduro. So she was definitely focusing her sights on defending that crown in the 2020 season, but now shifting focus to a very similar goal here, trying to take the overall win in the Cliff Crankworx Summer Series. She started out strong with 85 points and a second place in the Enduro, and second only to Casey Brown in the Enduro. So history has a tendency to repeat itself, especially when we're talking about the two fastest competitors in the field here, who are now going to finish 1 and 2 respectively again for the second day in a row. Casey Brown going up against Via Verbeek for the glory. Very small differential, 0.3 between these two. Here we go.
Both of them hitting that first section perfect. They're neck and neck, pretty much tied in the middle of the track.
Oh man!
Via hits that little hole. You see both of them trying to get a little bit of pedals in.
Whoa! What's it gonna be? It's so close. Bear in mind, it was a 0.3. Oh my! Via Verbeek needed to beat a 0.3. She got a 0.37.
Oh wow!
That is as close as it gets. Only 0.07 of a second separating 85 points from 100 points here. Yeah, this is going to be a good 3 weeks.
It's just great racing.
Had like this 2 gates that were kind of like an inside.
It's just such good racing. I feel like both of them knowing that they were on the edge, both of them knowing that they're probably going to be competing against each other all of these 3 weeks, all 12 events. It's just awesome.
Wow, I had to look twice at my laptop here looking at how close that matchup was. She needed to beat 0.3. She did a 0.37. Made it happen. The difference between 100 points and 85 points coming down to 0.07 of a second. And for 2 events in a row here, 2 disciplines in a row, Casey Brown and Via Verbeek finishing 1 and 2 respectively. We're working on getting that headset on Via Verbeek right now so we can have a little chat with our winner. Via, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Hi, Via. So the plot is thickening out here. After just 2 disciplines, it's becoming obvious that right now you and Casey are trading back and forth. Now, I know you're very much a strategist. You're the reigning queen of Crankworx. As you were eyeing up your competition for these 3 weeks of racing, did you look at Casey Brown and say, all right, that's one I'm going to keep my eye on?
I guess I didn't actually think that through, but like, I don't know. It's such a different crowd and different girls were racing, and like with Enduro being in, so didn't actually think through who was going to be on top of those kinds of 4 disciplines. But I could see how me and Casey are ranking up together. We kind of have a good similar style of riding, so that makes sense. But I'm stoked to be battling with her. There's definitely no drama going on. I love that, and she rode so good yesterday. I was stoked for her.
Very cool. And this is the home mountain for both of you here at SilverStar Resort. And I just wanted to ask you, since you're so close to this process of Bass designing and building the course, how did you like the course? There's no wrong answer here. I'm sure Bass will let you slide if you didn't like it, but it sure worked out well for you. Did you like it?
Thank you. I really liked it. I definitely love that he was able to, volunteer, go out there, put hours on it, make it a proper slalom course. This is stuff we want to see at Crankworx. This is what's exciting to watch. Honestly, I may have died this morning in practice trying to go through that rhythm section. I tried a totally different combo, which the rollers are very tight, so definitely some feedback to put out back to the trail crew and boss. But I'm glad I did not die and I was able to ride. Honestly, I did not think I was going to ride, so this is amazing. But yeah, loved it. I want more of that kind of stuff for slalom, for sure.
Great to hear. You made mincemeat out of that course. You added 100 points to your tally. Congratulations. We can't wait to see you in the next race.